Shalom Aleichem, Taira Chaverim. In these uncertain times, we are proud to continue to honor the bravery and courage of the Jewish resistance, the ZOB, as we commemorate the 77th anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. In this ever-changing world in which we find ourselves, it is more important than ever to reflect on our shared history as a community, a history of inexplicable pain and struggle, and pay tribute to those who sacrificed everything for the honor of the Jewish people and the continuation of Der Goldene Kite. The personal stories and testimonies we hear on April 19th are central to bearing witness to the atrocities of the Holocaust and demonstrate the necessity of speaking up against injustice to prevent history from repeating itself. The courageous individuals in the Warsaw Ghetto who fought so bravely embody the inextricable link between Jewish existence and the will to survive.
As Helfer, it is impossible to imagine ourselves in such a world of tragedy and horror, let alone our SKIFisten who are of similar ages to those teenagers and young adults who sacrifice their lives to fight for their Jewish identity. As a youth movement whose heroes are among the resistance of the Warsaw Ghetto, SKIF strives to continue to teach the values of persistence and bravery learned from the courageous fighters of the ZOB through both April 19th commemorations as well as every Sommerlager on Churban-Tag. This year, our Churban-Tag focused on the importance of stories in our community, where we were lucky enough to be joined by Mrs. Helen Jacobs, who shared her stories of courage and survival with our SKIFisten. Creating these connections between SKIFisten and the survivors ensures that we continue to tell their stories and sing their songs for generations to come. Dem 19. April ist geworden a Gelegenheit, zu der man nicht nur die Warschauer Ghetto Aufstand, noch euch die jüdische Karbones von über Europa. Dem 19. April ist geworden a Jahrzeit für alle die, welche haben nicht sehr eigene Quorum. Wir demanen nicht nur an Nummer, nur individuelle Menschen, welche seien gemordet geworden. Kinder, Mames, Tates, Brüder, Schwester, Babes, Seiders. Jeder eine von der 6 Millionen. At a time where we face much uncertainty, distress, and physical separation, the importance of sharing in our collective memory is more valuable than ever, as we strive to remain connected to our most vulnerable community members and honor their sacrifices and hardships. The principles that we liken to the ghetto fighters, that of fearlessness, persistence, and perseverance, are ones that we now find ourselves relying on today. It is more important than ever to not only remember and commemorate our history, but to value our freedom and remain united as a community just as we did in the past. Kavod Zeh Ondenk.
Gedenkt die 6 Millionen Jiden, was seinen umgekommen, al Kiddush Hashem.
Gedenk Auschwitz. Gedenk Treblinka.
Gedenk Buchenwald. Gedenk Majdanek.
Gedenk Sobibor. Gedenk die Gaskammern und die Krematoriums.
Gedenkt die 6 Millionen.
Wie viel seinen schon nicht da, soll geheiligt sein die Schau. Wir beweinen seien rasch, Jiskadal für Jiskadash. Was verblieben ist uns mehr wie die durchgängliche Träger, auf die Quorum, auf dem Asch, Jiskadal für Jiskadash.
In 1940, the Nazis established a ghetto in Warsaw. At this time, Jews accounted for approximately 30% of Warsaw's population and were forced to live in an enclosed area, which equated to 2.4% of the city. Ghettos were established all across Eastern Europe. There, Jews faced extreme overcrowding, starvation, disease, and mass death.
Es ist gewesen Sommertag, wie ständig sonnig schein. Und die Natur hat dann gehabt in sich so viel Heim. Es haben Vögel gesungen, Freilag sich herumgesprungen, Ghetto hat man uns geheißen gehen. Och stellte sich vor, was ist von uns geworden. Verstanden haben wir es als verloren. Nicht geholfen uns erbeten, soll mit sich uns retten. Verlassen haben wir doch unser Heim. Gewesen seien mir zu viel befeulen hat der Haar. So bringen jeden von rum und schießen auf Pona. Pust seinen geworden Stiebel, aber voll der die Gräber. Seine hat der Krieg sein größten Ziel. Auf Pona, zählt man auf die Wegen. Sachen Hitler durchgenächst von Regen. Das seinen Sachen von Carbones, von die heiligen Erschommes, die Welt hat sie häufig zugedeckt. Und jetzt ist wilde sonnig schein, schmeckt prachtvoll als Arom. Und wir seien verpeinigt und leiden alle stumm. Abgeschnitten von der Welt, eure Mäuren verstellt. Ein Strahl von Hoffnung, der wächst sich kaum.
The destruction of the Warsaw Ghetto bears every historical right to be ranked with the destruction of Jerusalem. The idea of Tisha B'Av as a national symbol probably arose soon after the destruction in the very next generations, though its final form may have been crystallized years later. No matter the size of the company of active mourners then, the national significance of the commemoration lay precisely in the fact that some remembered irretrievably. The longer the rememberers persisted in their mourning, and the more intensely, the more they drew in the entire people. More and more, the power of collective memory became one of the most creative, perhaps supremely creative factor in the survival of our people.
The GOB, Jewish Fighting Organization, was made up of representatives from many different organizations, including the Bund. This underground group encouraged Jews to resist deportation from the Warsaw Ghetto. As news reached the GOB of the planned liquidation of the Warsaw Ghetto, they prepared, on the first night of Pesach, to begin an armed uprising against the Germans.
On April 19th, 1943, at 2 a.m., the first messages concerning the Germans' approach arrived from our outermost observation posts. These reports made it clear that German gendarmes, aided by Polish navy blue policemen, were encircling the outer ghetto walls at 30-yard intervals. An emergency alarm to all our battle groups was immediately sounded, and at 2:15 a.m., i.e. 15 minutes later, all the groups were already at their battle stations. We also informed the entire population of the imminent danger, and most of the ghetto inhabitants moved instantly to previously prepared shelters and hideouts in the cellars and attics of buildings. A deathly silence enveloped the ghetto. The ZOB was on the alert.
After the fall of Mordechai Yanalevich, Marek Edelman became the commander of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. Despite being outmatched in numbers, military experience and weapons, the ZOB managed to continue fighting against the Germans for weeks and lasted longer than resistance by the Polish and French armies. The call to arms from the ZOB was echoed across Eastern Europe. Resist!
Gewalt, Jiren, seid sich nicht mehr asch. Azoi haben gerufen, die Warschauer Jiren, in seinem nicht deutschen Aufstand. Sie haben gerufen, sie haben die Wörter geschrieben, sie haben die Aufschrift zerhangen, in Häuser, in Häufen, in Besei mit Raschen. Zu die 10 Gebot, an 11. Gebot. Gewalt, Jiren, seid sich nicht mehr asch.
Was bedeutet das Wort Gewalt? Das Wort Gewalt bedeutet ewig. Nicht einmal ewig, nur 7 mal 7, ewig.
Sie haben euch Bixen gehabt, die Warschauer Jiden. Euch Keulen, Granaten gehabt, die Warschauer Jiden. Sie haben geschossen, sie haben getroffen, die Warschauer Jiden. Und soll sein gebencht jeder jüdische Keul, was so durchgelechert das Herz von einer Nazi.
Nur doppelt gebencht soll sein, auf ewig gebencht soll sein. Die Aufschrift von 6 kleine Wörter.
Zu die 10 Gebot. An 11. Gebot. Gewalt, Jiren, seid sich nicht mehr asch. Die Bixen haben Keulen gehabt und die Keulen seien ausgegangen. Wei ausgegangen. Der Nazi, der Deutsch, hat mehrere gehabt. Wei mehrere gehabt. Bombes gehabt, Kanonen gehabt, Aeroplanen gehabt. Alles hat der Deutsch stumm gemacht. Nur nicht die 6 kleine Wörter zu die 10 Gebot, dem 11. Gebot. Gewalt, Jiren, seid sich nicht mehr asch.
Was bedeutet das Wort Gewalt? Das Wort Gewalt bedeutet ewig. Nicht einmal ewig, nur 7 mal 7, ewig.
Michal Klepfisz was a Bundist and member of the Morgenstern sporting organisation before World War II. Klepfisz studied at the Warsaw Polytechnic, where he graduated with an engineering degree. These skills became invaluable during the Holocaust, where he used his skills to set up an underground explosive factory in the Warsaw Ghetto. Michal Klepfisz was a member of the ZOB and fought in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. He was tragically killed on the 2nd day of the uprising in the Brushmakers district. As Marek Edelman, who witnessed his death, wrote, "In one of the attics we are suddenly surrounded. Nearby, in the same attic, are the Germans, and it is impossible to reach the stairs. In the dark corners of the attic, we cannot even see one another. We do not even pause to consider how it happens that Michal Klepfisz jumps straight onto the German machine gun firing from behind the chimney. We see only the cleared path." Michal Klepfisz left behind a wife, Roza, and daughter, Irena.
This is a poem that I wrote about my father, who I didn't know very well because I saw him last when I was 1.5 years old, and he died when I was 2. And I just couldn't gather very many facts about him. And this is a poem that I wrote at a time when I knew very little about him. And these are the things I knew about him. It's called About My Father. About my father. He became a teetotaler out of his socialist convictions. During the war, he began to drink again. He was casual. He kept his tie in his pocket till the last minute before oral exams. He left me on the street to be picked up by the nuns from the orphanage. He watched me from a distant doorway. Once he refused to hit me. He told my mother his hand was too large. He wrote to his aunt that he hoped the baby would be a boy. When he was a student, Jews were not permitted to sit in the front rows of lecture halls. He made it a point to stand through the lectures. Ultimately, Jews were allowed to sit. He was a discus thrower. According to some, he got along with everyone, Jews, Goyim, children. He was caught a couple of times by the Germans. They thought he was a Polish smuggler. Once he was put on a train for Treblinka. He jumped, was shot at and wounded, but got back to Warsaw alive. He believed in resistance.
Es brennt, Brüder, lachs brennt. Oi, unser Rohr im Städtel nebach brennt. Beiser Winden mit ihr Gosen, reißen, brechen und zerblosen. Stärker noch die wilde Flammen, als schon brennt. Und ihr steht und guckt so sich mit verlegter Hand. Und ihr steht und guckt so sich wie unser Städtel brennt. Es brennt, Brüder, lachs brennt. Oi, unser Rohr im Städtel nebach brennt. Es haben schon die Feuerzungen das ganze Städtel eingeschlungen und die Beiser Winden huschen, als schon brennt. Und ihr steht und guckt so sich mit verlegter Hand. Und ihr steht und guckt so sich, wie unser Städtel brennt. Es brennt, Brüder, lachs brennt. Ois ken Cholile kommen der Moment. Unser Stadt mit uns zusammen soll auf Asche weg in Flammen bleiben soll wie noch a Schlacht, noch pust der schwarze Wind. Und ihr steht und guckt so sich mit verlegter Hand. Und ihr steht und guckt so sich, wie unser Städtel brennt. Es brennt, Brüder, lachs brennt. Die Hilfe ist noch in euch allein gewähnt. Heute der Städtel ist euch teuer. Nehmt die Kehlim, löscht das Feuer. Löscht mit euer Regenblut, beweist, dass ihr das könnt. Steht nicht, Brüder, oder so sich mit verlegter Hand. Steht nicht, Brüder, löscht das Feuer. Unser Städtel brennt.
Many Jews died fighting valiantly during the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, Al-Kiddush Ha'am, in the name of the Jewish people. We honor April 19th as their collective Yortzeit and remember them with great solemnity, pride and gratitude.
Amongst those that are known to have died during the uprising, we remember our Chaverim, Abrasha Blum, Michal Klepfisz, Tobshe Davidovich, Dovidil Hochberg, Gute Lushek and Jurek Blonis.
We recognize that there are many who ensured our survival and yet have no grave of their own to remember them. We recognize those that survived and shared not only their stories, but the stories of so many who did not survive to speak for themselves. We remember them all. Every year on the 19th of April, we gather at the Phoenix Theatre to commemorate a day we hold so dear. A day on which we not only mourn the horrific Churban, but remember those who summoned unimaginable bravery and strength to fight for Jewish honour and human dignity. A year ago, I visited Yad Vashem with a group of 20 or so 15-year-olds. The guide took us to see a statue of Mordechai Anilevich, and he also mentioned the Bund and its efforts during the uprising. As I walked towards the statue, I was filled with immense pride, a feeling that I tried to explain to my friends but could not. A feeling of pride mixed with bitter, sad undertones. The exact feeling I experience as I sing the Partisan Lied in Melbourne. A feeling of empowerment and great sadness that connects me, a young SKIFist in Caulfield, to generations of suffering and strength. It is this feeling that guides us in our commemoration of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. We commemorate this day for Kolchak's children, as Zeitlin so beautifully wrote in one of his poems, In Rhein haben sie marschiert, die Kinder, und geglitt die Himmeln mit a Lied. In rows they marched, the children, and ignited the heavens with their song. We do this for Mark Edelman, for Vlad Kamid, and for all those who showed us what true strength looks like. We see ignorance all around us every day, and such ignorance is dangerous. We mark this date each year because we are stronger than this ignorance and we can't let it control us. We see it every day at school, in the workplace, and online. It's our responsibility in 2020 to stand up for human dignity and Jewish honour. As a SKIFist, every year on April 19th, I, along with many others, work to break the chains of bigotry, remember our pain, and fill myself with pride for the heroes who stood up to the oppressors whose intolerance was so dangerous.
Resistance continued across Nazi-occupied Europe as Jews refused to go like sheep to the slaughter. In Italy, the folk song Ciao Bella was rewritten as a resistance song, a powerful ballad for the partisans.
Una mattina mi son svegliato, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi son svegliato e ho trovato l'invaso. Partigiano, portami via. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. E partigiano, portami via, che mi sento di morire. Morgen, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. In Zumba leuchten, a hellflim Morgen, der Sonne steht schon bei der Tür.
Sonne mit dir zusammen. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Ein Partisane mit dir zusammen. Ich will nicht fallen da allein. Partisane, hab ich verfallen. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Ein Partisane, hab ich verfallen. Muss mich legen in der Erde. Ein Bad im Schönen, leg mir in Kevel. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Ein Bad im Schönen. vergehen, mein stillen Käfer. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 es wird vorbeigehen, mein stillen Käfer, wer verkehrt in der Mond. Das ist das Bemühen von Partisanen. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 das ist das Bemühen von Partisanen. Zweck war Freiheit und Verdienst. Questo fiore del partigiano. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 questo fiore del partigiano, morto per la libertà. E questo fiore del partigiano, morto per la libertà.
Mir leben ewig von Leib Rosenthal.
Mir leben ewig, es brennt der Welt. Mir leben ewig, ohne Groschen Geld. Und auf zu picken ist alles von ihm, was willen uns verschmutzen unser Panim. Mir leben ewig.
Wir seien da. Wir leben ewig in jeder Schau. Wir willen leben und der Leben, schlechte Zeiten überleben. Wir leben ewig. Wir seien da.